Hey, what's up guys? Steven the Salon Guy here, and I'm really excited about today's video. This is an undercut tutorial for barbers. So if you are a barber and you do this for a living, I'm going to break down how I do an undercut to help you guys out. And I've been seeing, quite a number of videos of, amazingly talented barbers that have YouTube channels, and you guys are great. But I have been noticing a couple of technical things that I feel I could help improve upon for yourselves and also really make things a lot better for you and improve your haircutting skills, which is really, really awesome. So let's start out with breaking down what we got here today and what I'm usually seeing a lot of barbers do. Now this is a mannequin which has a little bit longer hair on top. I'd say the hair is probably about, 5 inches or so. And to get an undercut, a really good one, I would say the hair has to be at least 4 to 5 inches in length, at least, because you want the hair to be able to slick back nicely. If it's too short, it might not look the best. It might not really be suited for an actual undercut, because remember, all this has to be kind of undercut as well. So this might be a little bit short for me, but we can still do a lot with it. So typically what I see is, let's just go a little bit closer right here. Typically what I see a lot of guys have been doing that are barbers is they will sit the client down and they'll start right from this. I'm seeing a lot of you guys doing this technique to section off the hair. You're just taking the hair, you're holding it, and then you're taking a clip, which is fine, and you're sectioning it out of the way. And let's continue this. We're going to take our finger, we're going to scoop this out like that. We'll clip this out of the way, which is fine. You're going to go around the head shape like this, all right? Take the finger, now you're going to scoop this up this way, and then you're going to come around like this to basically section this part off, and then you're going to clip it. And I'm seeing a lot of guys doing this. Now you're all thinking, what the hell is wrong with that? Because it looks like it's absolutely fine. What could be potentially wrong with that? Well, I'll show you guys. Nothing's really wrong per se, but if you look at the sectioning here, all right, what I did, I just combed this up out of the way, and as you can see, what's happening is we have some uneven kind of ridges in through here, and that really, really will affect the haircut, guys, like dramatically. And I'm going to explain to you why. All right, now for when the client comes back, say the next time, or he wants to do something different with his hair, or it's not laying properly, like this uneven ridge right here, if you shave this way too high, you're literally screwing the client over. Like, he's done. His haircut is botched up, and you've just butchered his hair, because if he wants to grow this out, for example, or, what's going to happen is this one little patch is going to be sticking straight up and it's going to be all uneven. So my suggestion always is, and we'll do this in a second, is, or then I'll see taking a spray bottle and just spraying this a little bit to get out of the way. Wash the hair, guys. I'm telling you, wet the hair down in the shampoo sink, wash it down so you can really get this hair out of the way. And then what you want to do for clean sectioning is, I've always said this in the past, is you want to use the tip of the comb like this, kind of like as a pencil, like if you're drawing. And that's the best way to section. You lay the comb flat against the head, and you literally follow the comb with your finger like this and create a straight line, okay? Now mannequin heads, the way the hair pattern is sewn in is a little bit different. So it might create some sort of uneven patterns naturally because of the way it's sewn in. But I can tell you that combing it this way and creating an even, clean section that's pretty much straight will help, because there aren't any uneven ridges and it's basically a straight line going back. The best thing you can do is to create a straight line when sectioning. So let's wash his hair, come back when the head's completely wet, and we'll go on to the next steps. As you can see now, the hair is wet, and the best thing to do, even if you don't wash it, guys, just wet the hair down, because it's so much easier to comb through, as you can see through here. When the hair is dry, it's just, it's hard to get those clean sections, and trust me, going the extra mile really, really is going to be worth it, and it's going to contribute to the end result. So, best thing for the undercut of the sectioning. I have been hearing lots of complaints on YouTube from, people saying, oh, my barber went too high. And just to show, look what I did. Did you see how I took that clean section, just bam, just like that? The comb glides right through when the hair is wet, and you can get that really, really nice, clean kind of section, as you can see. So that's why I suggest doing this when the hair is wet. The best way to determine where to start your undercut really is where the recession line is, right in through here. It could be the corner of the eyebrow, kind of right in through here. The only thing is you have to be careful because sometimes it's too low, all right, and depending on the head shape. So this might be a little bit too low. Okay, if the hair is too wide, if you have it too low, the hair is just going to keep dropping down like this. So when he goes to style it, the hair is just going to keep coming down this way. If it's too high, say for example, like way up here, I mean, clearly it's more like a mohawk, all right? Even if it's the slightest bit too high, all right, it'll show. That to me is a little bit too high. A lot of times you can find the natural parting by just pushing the hair like this, combing it back and pushing the hair to see where it wants to split, and then finding that natural split this way, as you can see in through here. But I like to go right to where the corner of the hairline is because it gives it like that perfect balance where it's not too high and it's not too low. So I'd say something right in through here on this side. So what I like to do is take the section, comb it straight back, and you can even split the hair into twos, just like this, and comb it up. And here's where you can then clip the hair out of the way because it'll be a lot easier when it's wet. So you take that, you can twist it if you want, and just clip it. So we have the first section out of the way right here. So then you can come in on the other side like this and create the section by doing the same thing. Make sure the hair is completely combed out. You want to kind of gauge where you did the last one, and then again, take your finger and slice straight back like that with the tip of your comb, and then comb down. And then what you can do is you can comb all this hair straight up as well. And you want to get any excess hair out of the way, and you can go back in and clean that line up. But trust me guys, cleaning this line up is much easier when the hair is wet, to be honest with you, than when it's dry. So you can clip this hair out of the way, and then once you were done with this, we can then move into the back. But the key is to make sure we have everything sectioned off. And you can stand in front of it to make sure that everything looks pretty much even. And now what we'll do is we'll go into the back area. And in the back, basically what we're doing is we're connecting the lines. So you want to kind of continue and round this out in through here. So you see what I did? I went along here and I curved the comb. I curved the comb just like this in the back. Remember, the tip of the comb is kind of like a pencil. And you can do the same thing on this side. And then what you're doing is you're connecting this right into the back here, creating somewhat of like a horseshoe, as you can see right in through here. Now, this is really, again, really essential. How high do you go? It depends, again, on the head shape. If you create this section right here and it's way too high up, I mean, it's just going to look ridiculous. So you need enough hair that it's going to be able to cover over any calyx, so to speak. If he has a swirl, the occipital bone into here, you want to make sure that you're sectioning this off to make sure it's proportioned, and also to make sure that everything is properly balanced for the haircut. So here, I would say we have a pretty good sectioning, and now we're ready to cut the actual undercut. So now we're ready to actually cut off the underneath. Now you can do this in a number of different ways. I always suggest when the hair is wet, it's best to get rid of this while you can, starting with the longest guard that you're going to end with. So I have a 3.5 guard right in through here, and the hair is just going to simply glide right off because the hair is wet. Typically, I don't use clippers for fading and all that when the hair is dry, wet, because it's hard, as you guys know, it's hard to see the actual fade and the results when the hair is actually wet. So I usually do my clipper work when I'm doing fades and all that when the hair is dry. But for this particular situation, as you can see, the hair just literally glides right off because the hair is wet. So if you really want to work quick, I know a lot of you guys barbers are talking about, oh, I don't have much time to do all this, blah, blah, blah. Well, look, I'm actually working quicker by doing it this way. And this, again, this is for a particular hair type. Obviously, This is more for Caucasian hair or Asian hair, someone who's got more straighter hair types. You know, every hair type is different, so it might not be easier to cut it when wet. But when the hair is wet, you have a little more control of it, over it. But, you know, even if you're a hairstylist watching this, as you can see, I mean, look how fast we did this. I mean, this basically the client has an undercut at this point. I mean, we did the whole thing already. But the key and the point of this whole video is to kind of help bring some tips to you guys for cutting these undercuts to make it a lot easier. So now that we have that done, and this is the easy part, especially for your barbers, okay, now we have a good proportioned undercut in through here. Sorry guys, the sectioning is fine. Now you can leave this here and you can start the fading process. Now I'm not going to go into the fading process too much. I'll probably knock this down to, like, say a number 1 in through here. So this was a 3.5. Now I'll go back in with the shorter guard, 1.5 and 2, and go into this. So when we're done with that, we'll come back and then work on the top. All right guys, now the undercut part is done and we can take the clips out, and hopefully the hair will still be wet on top, which will be a lot easier to comb. And sorry, this clip is hidden under here. There we go. And now here's the next important step. Now when you comb this all back, you really get a good sense of where the hair is going to fall, what it looks like, and what we're working with. But from the sections of where we did the undercut, you know, as you can see, it goes back perfectly here on this side, right? It's not too, you know, too low, it's not too high. It's actually the perfect length for this to really lay back nicely. So now I see, and here's the next issue. I'll see a lot of guys with the clippers, they'll just basically take the clipper and maybe they'll do a clipper over comb to get rid of this, or they won't section it. Here's what you need to do, guys, is you need to part this right down the middle to get that even undercut. Now this isn't a comb over, because we're basically doing this where if the client wants to wear their hair pretty much straight back, or if they want to wear it, you know, on both sides, this can kind of help. But the key is to create a parting to make sure the hair is even on both sides. And that's really, really crucial. So now you can see, oh, all right, now I see how long it is and what I need to do. From this point on, it's up to you to create the base shape, the base length. The base length is the finished length of how long this is going to be when the hair is down. You could do this in a number of different ways. I'll suggest you can literally just do this in one shot. Now you don't want to press the shear against the scalp because you might end up cutting a line into the scalp. So what you do is you have to visualize with your comb where you want this. Just be careful if you cut this too high. Just remember, this hair needs enough length to go back and stay back. So if you cut this to right here, the hair is not long enough, it's just going to want to come down. You need that length in order to have a true kind of undercut and a true style. So let's cut this to about right here, just like that. And what you can do now is you can simply come in and cut working forward this way. And you're just taking your shears and cutting. Now we're cutting a shorter to longer look, which means we're going shorter this way to longer. Now as you can see, the way I have my hands coming this way. The shears are pointed down this way. If you're not, you know, comfortable with that, that's fine. What you could do is you can comb the hair, and here's where your finger positioning will help show you where to cut this. So you comb the hair straight down, lock it in your hands right there, and cut. You can use your fingers as well, but you have to leave this front the longest part, and you cut on an angle going down this way. So this is what the end result should be, a nice straight line like this. So now that we have that established, now we have to connect this. So let's take our shears, and now we're going to cut a straight line going throughout the back. And again, you don't want to go too high in the back, but you don't want to go too, you know, low either. You want to make sure it's just enough length that it's going to complement the undercut this way. I know this looks kind of like a mushroom, but that's really the point of an undercut. You know, everything is cut underneath the length. So now what we're doing is we're cutting straight across. And what you could do also, again, this is where the shears are going to help you, and visually, working with the hair like this in a much cleaner manner is definitely going to help you big time. Now watch, I'm cutting up this way. See that? I reversed my shears and went up. Now I would suggest, let's move the camera here. Body positioning is really, really essential too. Wherever you're standing is really important, because you need to be standing in front of where you're cutting. You need to be standing right in front of it so you can see everything that's happening. But this is the best and fastest way that I feel to knock down, you know, an undercut like this. And I'm taking obviously a little bit longer just because we're doing it for a video, but you want to make sure that you're efficient but also very, very accurate. Here's that last piece right into the front here, and we're going to cut straight down. You want to cut to that longest point. Now here's a very important aspect of how to check for this, guys. What you need to do is stand in front. I don't want to block too much, but you stand in front of the client and you take the hair like this and you pull it out and then pull down on both sides with your fingers to make sure everything is even. And what's going to happen is this point right here is going to come into a triangle this way. You don't want to cut that off. You want this to be the longest part because this is what's going to go back. However long this is, it travels back this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over this now with my hands because I want to make sure I can just clean that line up just to make sure. And once you're done with this, you might think it's over. All right, but the haircut is not over. All right, you need to start shaping and layering the hair to allow it to start laying a little bit better and to give it a little bit of shape and a little bit of movement. Not a lot, but just enough to give it a little bit of texture and volume in the hair to help it make it a little easier for the client to style. Now, could you do this and literally let them walk out the door like this? Of course. As you can see, I mean, we've got it. We've got the undercut. It's done. You could let them walk out. But let's just take this one step further. Say somebody wants a little more volume in through here. They want to have some movement. I'm going to show you guys how to get that. What we're going to do now is called layering. And layering simply means removing weight. So what we're going to do is just section this off right down the middle again. And we're going to start right in the back here. Now we don't have, let's just turn this so you can see a lot of room in through here. So this is the length. You never want to cut this bottom length right in through here because you want that to lay down. So never cut that because we already established our length. But what we're going to do is simple. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but we're going to remove the weight into the corner, which is right in through here. Any hair that's longer that lays over this is going to help style the hair a little bit easier. And as we get more towards the top of the head, working towards the front, you'll see that there's going to be more hair that we can cut. Remember, you don't need to see a lot of hair coming off. It's the hair that you cut that's more important, not how much. So now that we have that done, we're going to continue working towards the front. So now, look at that. We have a lot more hair. So we're going to just slightly remove that corner right into there. Take our next section, which is like this. We're combing it pretty much straight up from where the hair grows from the head. And we'll end it on this other side, right in through here. And we're going to take that off. Now, here's one thing I see a lot of people do, which is a big no-no, is they take the hair and they comb everything right into the center and they cut this off. With that, I see this all the time, and I just cringe when I see that because I'm like, no, you don't want to do that. What happens is you comb all this, and you're basically cutting this hair super short, then all this hair flops down like this, and it's a lot longer. You don't ever want to do that. Trust me. It just makes life a lot more difficult for you guys. So now that we have that established working forward, then you can take the hair this way and comb it straight up from the head and cut it straight across. Next section, take a horizontal section working towards the face and cut that straight across right in the middle. What we're doing there is removing excess weight on the top of the head. And this is what's going to help give the hair a little more volume right in through the haircut. And the last section, comb everything straight up, and you'll see it'll be a little bit longer, but you want to pull back slightly right there, and then you'll be good to go. Now here's where you connect the corners. All right, this is what is going to really blend in the whole thing. We're going to comb this straight out from the hair, and bam, there's that hair right there. That little piece is what you need to cut off. And that is going to really help balance the entire shape and really connect the haircut to make it lay better. And also, it's going to help grow out a lot better too. And then you can comb it all straight back, and you're good to go. Now you see the hair still goes straight back. No problems. Do the same thing on the other side, and you'll be good to go. So once you finish this, now I suggest, as you saw, I went over this way. I suggest the opposite, where you're standing facing the client and you're cutting this way. This is how I suggest doing it because it keeps your body position in a much better and more comfortable position. The other way, you're kind of extending over the top and it just might be a little bit uncomfortable for you. So I always suggest standing in front of the client and making sure your elbow is always pointing up this way. The elbow is really, really key with haircuts. So we're just kind of finishing this off here. And then when we're done, this is the very bottom now. As you can see, I'm going to the very bottom. This is good just to check this to make sure that it's balanced. Again, you don't want to cut the very, very bottom. You just want to cut what lays on top of it, which is the weight. So now we're good to go. And we can now comb this all back. The hair now has a little more of a looser look to it as far as the layers and stuff like that. So when you're styling this, it has a little more texture, you get a little more volume, and it's not just so heavy. And also, guys, just before we move on, I do have my own shears. These are Salon Guy Shears right here. I have these custom made for me. I made them very affordable. These are really high quality Japanese steel. And this is a Japanese design as well. I have my logo right in here. These are 5.5 inch. They're very comfortable. I use these every day. They're extremely sharp. I have them on sale for, I believe, $199. Very, very affordable. I have shears that are up to $900. So I want these very affordable, very effective stainless steel. So if you want, they're on my website, TheSalonGuy.com/shop. If you're a barber or hairstylist looking for good quality shears that aren't going to break the bank, check these out. And now for the styling, it depends if you want to use a styling product when it's wet. You can put a little pre-styling product in. You could just do it all natural with no product and use your hands. But for the actual styling, I always suggest using your hands and running your fingers through this way to really smooth out the hair and style it. So let's do this, and then we'll see the finished result. All right, here's the finished result, and I got this by simply using my hands and just raking it up with the blow dryer, following the head shape. And as you can see, because we cut these layers, we've got that volume in through here. So this is completely dry, all natural. There's nothing in the hair whatsoever. And as you can see here on both sides, we've got great shape and there's absolutely nothing in it. So you can achieve this by doing a good haircut. And that's what I'm saying. You go the extra steps, the extra mile, and you're gonna have a great haircut. But the layering and what we went over really, really is essential. So let's style this with my product Haze, which I'm telling you guys, if you're a barber or a hairstylist or even just a consumer, this stuff is amazing. A dry shine pomade, which means that it's not that greasy kind of traditional pomade or oily feel, which is nothing wrong with that if you want that. But I wanted something that had a little more of a tacky type texture, consistency, but also gave it nice shine like a pomade, but a more of a kind of drier finish than oily. So you take this, work it through the hair, and it does have nice hold as well, guys. It does actually holds the hair pretty well, but in a natural, really, really nice way. So work the product in. It'll look like it's, as you can see, the product is white, so it will, look like it's white on the hair, but once you start to absorb it in the hair, then everything starts to really come together, and the magic of this product really starts to stick out. So a very, very nice, lived-in, natural shine, like a pomade, but without the oily, greasy type consistency. And I'm telling you, people are loving this product. I'm getting rave reviews about it from professional hairstylists, barbers, and look, see, it works right in, and we've got that nice, sleek kind of look for the undercut, and we've got nice shine, and we have some nice medium hold, and here you have the finished result. Well guys, I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and if it did help you, please leave a comment below, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 400,000. I'm almost there. I need your help, so please subscribe. And if you like these types of videos and you found this helpful, let me know. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for more videos with the Salon Guy.